Good evening. My name is Daniel Young. I'm the owner and founder of Adapted Perspective and the Adapted Perspective social media platforms. Uh, this video continues our use of closed-end funds as an investment strategy. If you want our full methodology on the 12 steps to financial freedom, then head to Facebook and check out my page there called Adapted Perspective. Navigate your finances, where I give you the entire framework for free. Reminders, this is an unedited video, so who knows what you'll hear in the background as I film these in my house. Um, and sad to say, we are down a cat. So if you see any cats, it'll be the younger cat because the older cat um, had to depart last week. It's the nice way to say that. Um, yeah, so he won't be showing on my videos or won't be hearing his crazy yowl in the background, which is kind of sad. So uh, let's see. I am not a financial advisor. I'm a financial strategist, and I don't speak like the herd. I walk in limited company, and sometimes I walk alone, and I'm okay with that. So last week, I reviewed why we use closed-end funds, and this is just like a snapshot almost of why. But if you really want to dig into why closed-end funds, and if you look back through my videos, I talk about why closed-end funds. But we currently self-manage just a investment account on Webull that we are actually looking to change into a Roth. Initially, we wanted liquidity and kind of that, I guess you could say, almost like imposter syndrome in a way. We wanted we wanted the ability to cash it out if we had to, but we're finally, me included, we're finally in a place where we're comfortable self-investing, and I'm comfortable self-investing, and we're at a place where we're looking not immediate, but also long term on just how we structure our investments. And the best way to do that would be with a Roth. Um, so if we can, we're going to change. Well, we cannot transition our existing portfolio, but we can attempt to manipulate that and update that. I'll leave it at that. Whatever we end up doing, I'll include on my videos. Um, so why closed-end funds? Discounts. Would you rather pay full price or would you rather get a discount? I'd rather get a discount. You get a cheaper buy-in, you get great dividends, you get fund appreciation, and you get inbuilt diversity. Now it's instead of you buying all the different funds for all these thousands of dollars and creating your own diversity, you're buying access to a company who already has that built-in diversity underneath their umbrella. But it's not diversity for the sake of diversity. It's not uh, it's like butter over too much bread. Like it's not scraping your funds into everything, right? Hoping you get that sinking effect when butter soaks into bread. Too little butter, right? Not enough to go around. Too much in one place, it'll actually kind of eat through the butter. But that would be good for us because if you can target your investments, right? So instead of spreading the butter around, if you can target your investments, you can funnel money into that one spot and gain off of that. But my point with closed-end funds is instead of you buying all of these different companies, the one closed-end fund inside their investment vehicle, they've got all these other companies. So you're buying a closed-end fund with full access to their portfolio. That's a lot more appealing to me because I can get it at a discount and get it cheaper and get a much better dividend than buying all these companies on my own. So where should you invest? It really comes down to your strategy. I know our strategy or strategies. Do you know yours? Are you going to buy low and sell high? Are you dollar cost averaging? Are you investing for the long run? Are you investing for the short term? Are you building something that you can hand off to somebody else? Are you building something that will just run as say pick your retirement age or just pick your age where you're not going to be interested in this anymore. I can't envision that for myself, right? But if you can envision a place where you're not interested in doing this all the time and self-managing the day-to-day to week-to-week, month-to-month work on your portfolio where it just runs, right? Are you building to a point where it will just run itself? What's the end goal? Um, we want to retire with dividends. We want the appreciation of funds, and we want the dividends, and we want consistent dividends. So, biggest thing is, are you willing to follow the herd, or are you willing to move away from the herd? Because I operate away from the herd. You can operate wherever you want. The fool picks and those talk show circle junkies that say all this stuff and they're kind of the mouthpiece for the underground movement in the financial markets. Like, have you noticed that Jamie Dimon will tell you, hey, this is a horrible idea. And on the back end, his company will buy all the same stuff, right? Those circle junkies do the same thing. They squawk about individual investments because they want your attention and they're hoping to snare your money. And on the back end, they're investing somewhere else. And that's not me. And I don't like that advice. So, how does our strategy work? We use the strategy unless we have a really good reason for breaking it, which I'll get into. We target monthly dividends unless you find a really great quarterly payer. We're looking at bonds and senior loans. If you can get them cheap, the only service I pay for is run by Brett Owens and his Contrarian Outlook group. And they've been chanting about the bond bull long before Bloomberg started. But that bond scenario is still running. Bonds, corporate bonds, municipal bonds, all that jazz. So if you factor in senior loans with that, then we're looking at real estate, data management, and energy infrastructure, which would be oil, liquid natural gas, utilities, and then energy transfer. But in the closed-end fund world, we're buying all of that at discount compared to traditional value of what you would buy on the exchange in general. So the question is all of that still in discount mode? Yes and no. Special notes. We're looking at companies that have convertibles and preferreds. So convertibles meaning they can switch between stocks and bonds in the right scenario. Preferreds meaning they pay preferreds dividends first over common share dividends. And with the Fed still teasing rates, I mean, both of those sound great, right? But a 1% cut in the overall interest rate would do wonders for the market overall, but it would really do wonders for the bond market. And with real estate and bonds, for whatever reason, but with real estate and bonds still being dogged, that's a pretty good place for us to be. And then regardless of what you think about oil, all the technology is an oil derivative. Like it's made by an oil derivative. Your tennis shoes, your belt, your laptop, your phone, it's all made by an oil derivative. So to shut down the oil world would be detrimental to society. So for our future and for the now, we need oil, we need AI, we need data management, and all of those things, right, go back to oil. And with the boom in AI, we also need utilities to keep it cool, and we also need energy to supply how it works. So it's kind of like anything you could think of, any investment vehicle you can think of. Bonds are their separate thing. Oil is its separate thing. But if you look at technology, consumer, uh, oh, data management, overall energy infrastructure, all of that ties back to oil, right? And like Kiyosaki says, what do we want to be? What do we want to be in? We want to be in what the Fed can't print, and that's bonds and that's oil. And they really can't print technology. but they can manipulate technology. So let's look at where the bargains are for the week, and then we'll go from there. Can I not? Nope. All right. So this is the closed-end fund master, recently updated. I update this. Uh, I update the tracked funds, which would be a single, double, or triple asterisk weekly. I update the entire spreadsheet monthly. Triple asterisk is a buy alert, and so the discount is significant to the data of each individual fund, not necessarily to the data for other funds. So the buy alert is the existing discount is double the historical discount, and it's greater than the 5-year discount. 2 would be a dollar cost average based on what we already own. And then 1 would be tracking for any number of reasons of the funds themselves. Gray does not meet our parameters. Purple is recommended by somebody I read, somebody I trust. Blue is what we own. And then green I track for any number of reasons. So if we rank these by discount, HFRO is back at the top. And then we focus just on the triples. We'll come down. This is a video I haven't made yet. Current applies to all the shares we currently own. Correct. All right. So let's do the initial screening. So we're looking at monthly. So FGB is business development companies. Bonds. KYN is the only oil company that meets the metric. But at the same time, it's about $1 higher than we bought it at. And it pays quarterly, and we already own 400 shares. So it's not quite on our radar. There we go. HQL is a biomedical fund that was recently taken over by Aberdeen, and it's on my to sell list because it's an automatic dividend reinvestment program, so I never see those dividends. The others, so even though we already own this company, it's kind of on the short list to sell. Hopefully wait for rates to drop, see some price gain, and then drop it. KYN will keep long term. It just doesn't make this cut because it's not monthly and we already own so much of it. So then what's next? So we filter out monthly only. They're all significant discounts. So just because this one is 46 and this one's almost 6, it doesn't negate the fact that this is still a great discount for the fund. It's actually, honestly, it's recommended by somebody, but it wouldn't normally be in our list because it's above 16 bucks. So the next best thing, I always like things in reverse, is to cut out the ones that are below 9%. Now, the only one that's going to stay is this one because it's the greatest discount. So they went from bonds to senior loans that are about real estate and just flat out real estate. There's mixed reviews on HFRO. That I've talked about in previous videos. I really don't want to get into the lengthy situation here. It's well managed. Yes, they cut the dividend. Yes, the share price dropped. People are still somewhat uncertain, but at the same time, their overall cost sheet, like their overall pricing sheet, it's actually doing better than most people thought. So it'll stay on the list, but whether it gets that pick for the week, I guess you could say. If that's where we would put our money this week, I don't know, but it'll stay on the list. We take off everything that's not 9%. The Calamos ones, I've said this before, the Calamos things, they are portfolios in a can. They've got a lot of different stuff. Um, I mean, for our portfolio, we've already got tech and financial and industrial. Uh, you can get lost in these categories. I mean, they all kind of bleed into the next, depending on how you're defining things. Um, I love the Calamos name, but I'm just not a huge consumer category person just because it fluctuates so widely, and a lot of them are global. Um, I mean, real estate to a degree you can argue is consumer because it's a cyclical product, but it kind of depends on your market. Um, Locally, real estate just goes. I mean, it doesn't matter the time of year. You can generally find somebody who's looking for real estate, and it's real estate as a global market. So if we look at just where we are, uh, we're outside of metropolis. We're in a sought after area, close to the coast. Uh, there's a lot of businesses, a lot of industrial production. People move in and out of our area all the time. We bought a rental, we bought an investment property in a uh, still in a good area in a growing city, and uh, but it doesn't see the same level of influx as our area. So it's uh, say think of how to explain this. We would love to catch somebody out of the real estate cycle according to the school year, right? That's the goal. But generally in real estate, if you're listing a rental in any area in February, the market doesn't normally heat up until end of April and May and June when people are moving to and from school or moving out of school. So real estate market in that general ideal or general idea is that it's cyclical and it really does follow the general school calendar. But pending your area, real estate is always in motion. So then you factor in a global market, and real estate is always in motion. And it's a consumer product, but it's not quite the same type of consumer product as ketchup or mustard or pickles or grills, right? Grills are popular right before it gets warm. Uh, People buy ketchup and mustard all year. It's not exactly cyclical, but maybe it's more common at different times of the year. And just how much that part of the market swings is just not my jam. Uh, so that leaves us with this, and they're all funds we own. I mean, straight up. And that was not planned. I honestly didn't realize what would be on the list and not. Uh, it's long been my kind of personal goal to buy a Calamos fund, but at the same time, it's just not quite my thing. At least not right now. So that leaves us with this. And they're all, for the most part, targeted with what we're investing in. So you get bonds. Sorry, you get real estate and private senior loans, which is kind of like bonds, technology, corporate bonds, global and US bonds, mostly in AI. Not quite a portfolio in a can, but very similar. It's got bonds, energy infrastructure, real estate, a little bit of data management, satellite companies, and then it's still a floating rate loan, kind of like a senior loan. Uh, Plus, they've got their own inbuilt closed-end fund portfolio now. And I'll admit that not all their closed-end funds are my interest, but it's buying one closed-end fund, getting access to a lot more. So these two are the same thing. You can argue for and against me for buying the same company twice. If I had to buy one now, I would buy this one. But they really are the same thing. They're just slightly different price, slightly different dividend, slightly different structure. Corporate bonds, if you look back in videos, like 5 weeks ago, we bought 50 more shares of HFRO at 653. It's come up a little bit since then, but we're not looking. I track the weekly stuff, but we're not looking short term. We're looking long term. Maybe 2 weeks ago, there we go. We bought 50 shares of where are we? 50 shares of FCO. I like the idea of all American corporate bonds. So if we were buying tomorrow, what would we buy? Now, I'll be honest, in the potential of a portfolio shakeup on our end, we're not going to buy. That doesn't go well with trying to update and tweak around our portfolio. But if we were buying tomorrow, what would we buy? So NVXG is a tech fund. It does amazing, right? It's up crazy since we bought it, almost $2. So for us, it's not going to stay on the list. And this is why I like knowing what we have. So real estate, corporate bonds in America, global funds, but invested in AI. Portfolio in a can kind of ticks a lot of boxes of what we're looking for: bonds, real estate, energy infrastructure, data management. And then bonds, senior loans, kind of same idea, plus their own inbuilt portfolio. If we could buy them all, I mean, I would not buy this one because it's the same thing, but I also just like the V a little bit better than the Z. If we could buy them all, it'd be amazing. But if we bought anything with the bond market still swinging up, with the corporate bond market picking up steam, and since we can still get the FCO at a discount, it's an easy pick to pick up another 50 shares of it. Real estate is still dogged. Buying HFRO really low, it is tempting. Quite honest, any of these work, they all fit our parameters for investing. I mean, besides HFRO's yield, they all pay monthly, right? They're all over 9%. Right. Well, say back up. They all have significant discounts. They all pay monthly. They pay greater than 9%. It's outside of HFRO. They are that's like 3 cents higher than what we bought it as. The rest are actually under what we bought them as. So they're a great dollar cost average. But of where we are in this economy and the coming market, I like the idea of adding more corporate bonds. So take it for what you will. If we end up shaking up our portfolio, I will. And I need to do a portfolio review anyway of what we're looking at and kind of long term of everything. We did sell this fund last week, technology fund that should do well, just does not seem to be managed well. Pink is on the short list for restructuring if we're able to get into a Roth early next week. But of where we stand right now, so we've got that much invested, a little bit in cash, but we have that much invested, current annual dividends, which honestly needs an update now that I see this. Because So with this going, that means we only have this dividend. There we go. And I have some more updating to do on the spreadsheet. I realize I got to update our overall investments and our overall yield and the overall, well, the accumulated dividends are going to stay the same overall, but we're looking at a 16% uh, return of investment just by dividends in the last that's actually in the last 3 years. Uh, what we've sold things for, or say our current profit loss, what our overall selling has been, like selling profit loss, that doesn't make sense. Yes, it does. So what we sold it for, what the overall profit or loss was. There we go. And uh, yeah, overall, what it would be if we sold it today. So yeah, I don't know. There we are. So take it for what you will. We are thinking about um, restructuring our portfolio. It would get split into uh, we would leave the operating brokerage account self-managed. We would open a Roth self-managed and run two portfolios still through Webull. If we were buying tomorrow, we would pick up another 50 shares of FSCO. There we go. All American corporate bond companies. Um, yeah, but honestly, I mean, every company on the list is great. I mean, the only outlier, which you can dog me for, that's okay, is I bought the same company twice. So that's all I have for the week. Um, if you like the content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the like button, head over to Facebook, check out my group there called Navigate Your Finances. That info will be below. And then as you face the week, we exist on the school year calendar. So we have 2 months of school left. We have 7 weeks of school left. So as you face the week and as you face the end of the school year, whether you have kids or not, summer is coming, right? And if we can look past summer, there's another school year. And if we can look past that, somewhere in the hazy distance is that place we're all hoping to get to. Some level of financial freedom, whether that's an early retirement, a career change, uh, launching your side hustle, or just something that I haven't listed. The ability to travel, the ability to enjoy the things you want to enjoy without concern. It's okay, just make the noise. My daughter filling up her cup for the night. Um, whatever that is. I mean, traveling, fishing, hunting, snorkeling, cave, whatever that cave spelunking, or finding an open field and drawing. Um, it really doesn't matter what it is. It's just figuring out a way for you to do what you want to do outside of your primary job. And that's really what we're into. We all have our dreams. We're all tasked with, yes, with working, but at the same time, it's doing what you love. And you can love your job, but life doesn't happen at work. So captain that ship, not just to where you work, captain that overall financial ship to where you want to be, accomplish your dreams and live beyond that. Right? The Pirates Desert Island treasure map is one, getting to the island, and two, existing beyond the island. So captain your ship, accomplish your dreams, find your treasure, and then live beyond that. So whatever it is you want to do, it's not going to happen on its own, which means you have to make it happen. It's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, but it'll be worth it, right? If it could have happened on its own, it would have happened on its own, but it hasn't happened on its own, which means you're going to have to make it happen. So whatever you have for the week, I wish you well. Hope you all have a great week, and hope you can see some light at the end of the tunnel for the school year, because we certainly can. So have a great week, everybody. Talk to y'all later. Bye bye.